Hello, and today we got current footballer Dale Carrick on today. How are you today, Dale?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Angus. I'm just back from my walk with the wee man, so I'm doing well. How's everything with you?
Everything's great here, thank you. So, what is your first memory of playing football?
My first memory. Um, I think it was probably around like primary school, to be honest. I think it's when we sort of get introduced to playing football. I think that was around about P3. I just remember my mum and dad taking me along to like, the sort of tryouts at the point because everyone wants to go play football. So I think it was just that was my first memory of like kicking a ball was around about P3.
And when was the first time you thought, right, I could really make a career out of this?
Uh, it's a difficult one because you don't actually look at it as a career. It's something that you love doing and playing. I think it was probably once I sort of got introduced to the first team. I think it was up to that point where I sort of thought I could have potentially a career playing football here. So that was probably around when I was 18, that I would say.
And when was the first time you were asked to sign an autograph by a fan?
That was the first time. I think it was actually when I went full time. When I went full time after school, the club always does like a sort of signing session with all the fans, and I think it was one of those ones where all the under-19s at the time and reserves and first team all had to go to a sort of a gathering where we got to greet all the fans. So I think it would have been around then, and that would have been my sort of first year in where we signed autographs. It was weird at the time because mine was just like a horrendous little wavy line. I think it was more as I got older that you need to try and figure out how can I make like a decent one, because you had like boys that would go away and practice and that looked all right, and then you had mine which was just like a big wavy line. So yeah, I think it was roughly my sort of first time full time when we had to go and meet and greet with some of the fans.
Who's the best teammate you've played with?
Best teammate. Best teammate, do you mean like quality wise or best teammate that helped me?
How about both?
How about both? Um, best best player that I've played with, without a doubt, would have to be Billy King. I grew up with Billy coming through the youth academy. Even then, he was a standout. He was the quality that he possessed. He was one of those players that could do anything with both feet. That you couldn't tell which foot he was. He was unbelievable how good he was. And best teammate that helped me. I think it was when I was breaking through. To be honest, I would say John Sutton. He was the striker at the time that sort of took me after the sessions and just gave me sessions to do like practice shooting. He was giving me sort of tips on how to hold up the ball because I'm not particularly the biggest, but he would always tell you about body position, using your arms, your bum, and everything like that. So I think he was probably, for me anyway, another striker to striker. He gave me the support there.
What's the best stadium you've played in?
Oh, best stadium. Difficult one. Because you've got Celtic Park that I've played at, which is an incredible stadium, and then you've got Anfield, and then you've got the National Stadium as well. The one that made most to me probably would have to be Anfield. I think a packed Anfield, and especially the significance of that game, being young, 19, and potentially we were so close to winning at 1-0 and then getting a one each. Something so young, I would have to say Anfield.
What were the best boots you wore?
The best boots I wore. Um, I think I would have to go back to when I was younger, when the sort of original Preds were out. The sort of the remix that they're making at the moment with the sort of three stripes going across the sort of front of the foot, and then you had like the big red tongue that went underneath. So I think that would be my favourite and best pair of boots that I had was the Preds.
What about the best and worst kits you've ever worn?
I think the best kit was the year I was in the Championship Tarts. we had the sort of remembrance kit, which was like the special sort of crest that we had. I thought that was something special. It was really sort of simple, but it was one of my favourite that I've managed to keep. I wouldn't say I've got the worst kit, but one of the stories was when I signed for Airdrie. I think the shorts and the socks got shrunk in the wash. So like even for me, I'm not the biggest or anything like that, but they were like small swimming shorts, and even like the bigger guys, like they were ridiculous on them. Not that the kit was bad or anything, it was just the fact that they probably shrunk in the tumble dryer, which was that probably made them the worst for me anyway.
What's the best goal you've scored? Because you scored against Hibs and so forth. So what's the best goal you've scored?
It's difficult because you can base it on the emotions. So like you said, the Hibs goal there, that was bread and butter type of finish. It was a quick one touch finish. And then you've got other ones that are probably technically better ones where it's the strike and the way it's went in the goal. So it's difficult one to really sort of choose which goal, but I always go back to probably the Hibs one. I think that was probably one of my best ones because it meant so much to me, but also meant a lot at the time as well.
What's the worst performance you've ever had on a football pitch?
Worst performance. I've had a few of them, to be honest. Worst performance. It's hard to nail down because there's probably been quite a few. I think there was one that I'll always remember when it was when I was in 19s, and me and it was Callum at the point, Callum Patterson. We played the first 45 minutes, and it was against Hamilton, and I don't know what happened, but me and him just couldn't do anything right at all. And I just remember getting the curly finger. Me and him got the curly finger and got told to stay where our boots were kept at the academy because it was at home. It was home pitch. So we got told to stay down there and think about what we have done while the game was still kicking on. So it was just stuff like that. I think that's probably the one that I always remember because me and Callum were just looking at ourselves like, what have we done? Like it was just one of those ones we were getting beat. I think it was like 4-0 at half time. I think we ended up getting beat 7-1 anyway. So it was all round horrendous day. I just remember sitting on, because it was like the wee boot hampers for the first team. And we were just told to stay there, think about the first 45 minutes. And then I don't know what really happened after that, to be honest.
We've talked about the best teammates, but what's the worst teammate you've had for like playing pranks and stitching you up, that sort of thing?
Worst teammates. I wouldn't say worst team. Like there's always going to be sort of banter in the football game. Trying to think what it was. I used to always have a bit with like Brad Mackay and Kevin McHattie at the time. Seems we all came together through. Trying to think. We used to. I'm sure they used to like. I don't think. What was it they done? I'm trying to think what they did there. There was always the part where they used to move cars. So what used to happen at the academy? It was like a big walled garden, and then we would go out to train. And I think they were injured at the time, so they went and took my car keys and they've moved my car. And I'm like at the end of training, I'm coming out and going into this big walled garden and think because like the uni use it as well. So you've probably got like 200-300 cars, and you went to where I've thought I've parked it. It's not there. It's like where on earth is it? You're trying to press the key, trying to find the car, and that. I think it took a good like 15 minutes to try and find it in this walled garden. They moved my car right up at the back of this place, and I'm just so not that I held any grudges or that, but I can remember doing something back to them. It was probably not moving their car at that point, but it was more like tying their clothes up and everything, and tying their shoelaces. Just something a wee bit more modest because. Well, don't touch my car. That's one thing that that annoyed me.
Who's the best teammate you've come up against?
Best teammate I've came up against. Just trying to think. actually quite a difficult one because a lot of my teammates that I've played against or played with, sorry, I've not actually went and played against them. I've not actually had the opportunity to play against them. But so that's a difficult one to say. I think who it would be. I'll go for my old friend Mark Ridgers, goalkeeper. Played against him a couple of times. We always used to have a wee bit of banter if I can score against him or he can save a bit penalty against me. So I think we're doing all right on that front. We're still pretty even, to be honest. But he's probably one of the better players that I've played against. That was a good teammate of mine.
Who's the best manager you've had?
For me, not one's really stuck out personally. They've all got really good traits, and they've all got bits that I've admired. I think it's a difficult one to answer, to be honest. I would have to say John McGlynn. One for giving me the opportunity to play in the first team. He was the one that gave me that opportunity. I also admired him for the amount of detail that he used to go into. When we used to do video analysis, he used to give you absolutely everything about the opponents, what we could do to hurt them going into the game on a Saturday. And to this day, I still get a phone call from John every so often just asking how I'm doing and everything like that, and likewise to him. So I would say John McGlynn, sorry.
Just a final for you to end up on. What was the last game you played before COVID?
Last game I played? Oh, that seems ages ago. It was Raith Rovers. We played them at home. We got beat. That was probably my last game. So that seems like ages ago, to be honest. I think it was like the end of January, I think I played, to be honest. Got beat 1-0.
And just to end on, when's the last time you had to pay for a ticket to go to a football game?
Last time I had to pay for a ticket. Oh, that's a very good question. I think the last one that I had to pay for was when it was Scotland versus Spain. I think that was the last time that I had to pay for a ticket. I think that was me and my missus. We went to that game together, and I think that was ages ago. So I would have to look up when the exact year was, but that was a good while ago, to be honest.
Right, Dale. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you.
No problem at all.
See you later.